Hello, your mama is a hoe. Did you know your mama is a hoe? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hair Trek. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but today I am back with a new tutorial for a character that I am obsessed with. Especially when Lower Decks was on the air, I could not get enough of this character. We all know and love her, Beckett Mariner. Okay, so that's why I'm coming to you like this. This is not Corbin Blue. Sorry to disappoint. We're not gonna what is that movie? We're not gonna jump rope. We're not gonna High School Musical. So sorry to disappoint, but yes. So this is gonna be my base wig for Mariner. I am gonna complete this cosplay over a series of videos. I have the uniform tunic from eBay or Cosmart. So they have a shop on eBay. I'll put the link for that down below. So if you guys want to go get you a nice little costume, a nice little Star Trek cosplay, they have tons of different types of uniforms from miniseries. They have Voyager, DS9, they have the Wartime Grays, which I'm surprised I don't have, as they are my favorite uniform. But I do have the Lower Decks live action version of the uniform from them, and I'm obsessed with it. Hold, please. Let me go show you what that looks like. So this is the uniform. This is the tunic. I'm really pleased with the construction of this, the fabric, the material. I have yet to honestly get a Cosmart uniform and not be happy with it. So this is where I typically get my uniforms from. They're reasonably priced. They have great quality usually. So a uniform that I had to get a replacement for is the Picard Season 3 uniforms. The one that has like the flap over. The one that I usually wear basically in my trivia videos. So that one, there's like these little clips that like hook into each other on the flaps. So those were a little flimsy, and also they just kind of fell apart. So I had to get, and then the zipper also broke. So that is the only time that I've ever had an issue with them. But I just got a replacement, and it's fine. Also, it fits better because Mama did lose a few pounds. But anyway, let's get back on track. So yes, this I bought from them. I bought some leggings for the bottom, and then I bought some like rain boots with a red bottom that I have to make a boot cover for. So that is also going to be a part of the process that I will film. And also, my partner, my boyfriend, he's going to be my Boimler. So you probably have seen him if you've seen a lot of my content. He also played Hugh Culver in one of my trivia videos. Yeah, so he's always down to clown with me. Let me tell you why I love this character. So Beckett Mariner is an amazing character in the sense that like she is not perfect. And a lot of the times in Star Trek, we have these like bigger than life, heroic people who always do the right thing, more or less, and we follow them through the course of a series. Whereas with Beckett, she is someone who suffers from a lot of like self sabotage. She is someone who is highly skilled, smart, has been around the block, and experienced a lot of things compared to some of her peers like Boimler. But she does not want to fulfill her destiny in the sense of like being promoted and things like that. She kind of wants to stay in place. She enjoys being at the bottom, even though she's been promoted and been at the top and lived that life. She has come to this point where it doesn't work for her. It doesn't serve her to be in a position of authority. And you find out over the course of the series why exactly that is. There's a specific reason. I'm not going to spoil it because many of you may not have seen Lower Decks, and I think it's worth a ride to figure out why this character is the way she is. Also, as a black character, it's really interesting to delve into a character that is not held up to like this like perfect standard. She has flaws, and that's a big part of her character, but she's also really, really good at what she does. When it's time to jump into action, she's the one you want on your team. So I love this character. And I've been wanting to bring her to life and dress up as her because I feel like she's probably one of the best modern, besides Michael Burnham, because, you know, I love Michael Burnham and I do want to get to her as well. Michael Burnham is like the opposite end of the spectrum, where Michael Burnham is all about saving the day, all about throwing herself into danger willy nilly, and is courageous and perfect and blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't say perfect, but like she definitely is more aligned with that, you know, heroic side of Starfleet, whereas Beckett Mariner, she's resistant to that. But yes, I digress. So let's get started. So I'm going to use this wig. It is from the Curl and Kinks Game Changer in color 4 from Sensational. Sensational makes really good beauty supplies grade wigs. Like, they are really well made. They're always full of hair. I love the way that they cut them, especially if you get like some of their straight styles and things like that. They have beautiful layers in them. They have great colors. I'll put the link to this wig below. Sensational, sponsor me. So I'm gonna use this as the base, and I'm gonna show you how I slick it up into like a snatch pony. So you may have noticed, so this is a middle part wig when it comes out the box, but I have it shifted on my head. So because Mariner has like that side part, and I'm gonna take the, I think this is the, yes, this is the part. So I'm gonna take, I'm gonna take this and make this the bang, and then I'm gonna snatch it up into a high pony on the crown, and then I'm gonna use this whole full wig as the pony, kind of basing this texture and color off of her iteration in live action when Tawny Newsome, the voice actress, actually was able to portray her on Strange New Worlds in the episode Those Old Scientists. I'm gonna show you the products that I use for this tutorial, and then we're gonna get started snatching this wig up, baby. So the first thing we want to do is section. So I've already gone ahead and sectioned the wig into a few different subsections. I got this basically is like my crown section. So this is going to be the anchor ponytail. I just clip this out the way with a big clip. And then you want to do everything below, like in the center nape. So yeah, we have this and this. Also, we have to remember that we have the wig slightly tilted to the side. This wig is designed to be a middle part, but I have it shifted over so that this is a side part now. So this is gonna be our bang. So we're gonna touch this last, because we are gonna trim it too, because it's a little long. So we're gonna get this out the way, baby. Before we do anything, is we are going to make sure that on these side areas, you see that? So you still see that structure of the wig. We don't want to see that, just because, you know, we might turn to the side and then, ooh, it's a wig. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our scissors, and we are going to go into the structure of the wig, and we're gonna cut some of the net away. So you see that net right here? So it's really very simple. All you're gonna do is take your shears and just like clip away at that net. Just open that up. And then you're gonna take some hair at the leading edge of the cap. Right. Stretch it out. Get a good hold on it. And you're gonna feed it through that hole that you just created. And then once you pull it all the way through, when you pull it back over itself, it blocks the cap from being shown. So that way, it won't look like a wig hairline, you know, just that black elastic showing on the side of your neck. You'll have hair there that is, you know, making it look a little bit more realistic. a little bit coming from your scalp. There is no wig. There is only hair coming from my scalp. Got it. So I'm just gonna keep doing that until I basically get to the nape of the wig. Just keep doing that process. So this is what it should look like once you finished one side. Now that looks so much better, don't you think, than seeing that ugly elastic band that comes with most wigs. Like, we don't want to see that. We want to see the hair, being a ponytail. We want to see it coming from the scalp, right? So this is a nice trick that you can use on any wig, really, if it's an updo. Definitely file this trick away because it is more useful than you think. There are going to be times where you're going to need to do an updo wig, and this is a very quick and easy way to conceal that ugly hairline. You're gonna take that clip out and then you're gonna start rough drying this smooth just so it can lay a little bit more flat once you start joining all the different sections over it. So this is gonna be our anchor ponytail, so you want it to be smooth out just a bit. Doesn't have to be bone straight. You're not gonna like press it out with a flat iron after this. You just want to get the roots a little bit more smooth, and then you're gonna move on to the next section. This is a pretty straightforward step. You want to do this on all sides of the ponytail and just smooth it out as best as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect because no one's gonna see it. So here's me trying a new concoction that I learned from this YouTuber called Jayla Maheti. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So basically it is a mixture of got to be clear gel out of the black tube, and you spray the hell out of it with some got to be freezing spray, and then you mix it together, and that's supposed to like really like slick your ponies down and things like that. I think this is definitely a human hair kind of technique, kind of product usage. This worked decently on this synthetic hair, but I feel like you could probably just get away with using hairspray or just the gel by itself. Plastic hair just does not absorb and work with products in the same way that human hair does. Now, before you start applying the gel, you need to get the knots out of the ponytail so everything is nice and flat. So I like using the unbrush on the synthetic wigs when I need to detangle quickly and efficiently. And that's what I'm doing right here. So do that before you go applying any product. Alright, so here I am applying some of that gel mixture, that gel and hairspray mixture. I'm just getting it nice and saturated at the roots. And then I'm going to take my blow dryer. I believe she said cool. Yes, I believe. So just to like set that in place. And I did that on all the sides of the base of the ponytail. I even added a little bit more to make it nice and slick. And it did the job, not gonna lie. Like, it worked. It worked well enough. I think this will definitely work a lot better on human hair. But it did what I needed it to do. Now I'm just adding a little hair tie to secure everything. And I want her hair. Now you can do it however you see fit. Like if you wanted to hang a little bit lower on the crown. I wanted mine to be kind of perky. So it's kind of like right at the tippy top of her crown. Yes. So that's where we're positioning it. Yeah. A little bit more. And honestly, just get it as tight as possible. It doesn't need to be perfect. So if you have some ripples and things like that, remember you're going to go back over this with the other sections on the outside of the wig, and it's going to be covered. So girl, I went back and checked. Yes, it's cool air. Yes, because sometimes it's hot air, sometimes it's cold. It's cool. So you want to solidify that with some cool air, cool shot from your blow dryer, okay, on all sides. Yeah. Moving right along, we're going to take down this middle back section in the nape, right under our ponytail in the crown, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to smooth it out. We're not trying to take out all the curl, right? We still want to make this look natural, like she did it herself. So it's not going to be pressed. All right, so now we are just brushing through this back middle section, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to blow dry it straight. Again, doesn't have to be bone straight. Just get most of the curl pressed, blown out. And then I'm just gonna work my way up the head. I'm gonna clip the sections I've already done out of the way, and then keep going down and down and down until I get to the very bottom of the nape. Smooth that out. Like this hair is very repetitive as far as like the styling. Then I take my teasing brush and go back over and really smooth that surface down. I just want to snatch it as best as I can. Also, if you can see, the Pearlax pins are in the nape, and I angle those on a diagonal going up so that the back of the wig does not pop up with all of this tension, and that's very important. You don't want your wig to be too tight because you weren't stretching it out from the jump. All right, so now we're moving on to the sections on the side of the nape. So we covered using the pull through method, but what we want to do just to make sure is tease that outer layer together with our teasing brush. And this will make sure that once we smooth things out, we still have coverage. So we're going to do the same thing and use our blow dryer and our Denman brush to just stretch that hair out, smooth it out a little bit. Again, you can make it to your preference, but I like getting it pretty smooth, but it still should have some texture. Like, it doesn't have to be bone straight. You see, like that. And I'm taking my 5-prong comb and just smoothing the surface, making sure that any knots and weirdness is detangled and all of that, and also helping to kind of like create coverage. Instead of using a hair tie, I'm going to use a zip tie just because it will be a lot more sturdy and permanent. And there we have it. And now let's move on. So then I move on to the front side section and start doing the same exact thing, blowing out a little bit of that texture, smoothing it out. But that's when I noticed that the ponytail is not aligned to the middle of the back of the head. It is kind of off to the, I think it was off to the left. So I was like, okay. Yeah, I basically had to cut out both zip ties and reposition that, and then I went back to slicking that front side and reincorporating it, I should say, to the rest of the ponytail now that it is straightened out. So yeah, sometimes you gotta go back and fix shit before it's too late, girl. Could you imagine if I had went through this whole wig and then realized I would be past? And like before, we're gonna lock it in with that cool air, and then we're gonna zip tie it. And then we're gonna do all of these same steps for the other side. All right, so I put this section up off camera, but I wanted to make it a lot more sleek after looking at reference photos for the live action hairstyle. So then I was like, let's try the hair wax.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And I should have knew better. Hair wax is not gonna work on synthetic hair. It cannot absorb into the fibers like it can with human hair. So it was just like getting super heated and then peeling up on the surface of the wig. So don't do what I did.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
You know, you can put in the comments, so why did you do it to the other side if you knew it didn't work? You know what? Sometimes you do things and they don't make sense. Like this. Yeah, look at the wig. She look alone, lost and afraid. All right, so this is a tutorial within a tutorial. So I took some 70% alcohol and just went to town getting the residue of that wax off. So we learned a lesson today. Don't use wax-based products on wigs. Not synthetic wigs, at least. It just doesn't work in the same way. But yes, now we're just gonna zip tie this. All right, so now it's time to get ready to prep the wig so we can add the ponytail on top using the second wig. So I just take a hairnet and scoop all of that hair into it. I leave a little bit out at the front because I want some hair, some curls to hide the join
between the two wigs. Especially because this wig has that lace in the middle. I want to hide that, conceal it with some hair, and you'll see how I do that. It's really very simple. So I'm just taking some bobby pins and some hairpins and securing that wig, that hairnet down into the pony, into the base of the wig. All right, and we are finally putting the ponytail or the second wig on top of that mound of hair. And we're just gonna place it for now. I will go back later and pin it in to place with a few pins. If you want a more permanent connection, you can use zip ties or you can sew it down. But I just was like, bobby pins will do. I'm not planning to do cartwheels and flips in this wig, so this is gonna be for like content, photos, or some videos. So I'm spraying it a little bit with water to like kind of bring back that curl. It was looking a little brushed out, a little frizzed out. So with the bang, I just basically cut on a diagonal going from short to long. Short closest to the face, longer away from the face, and I took it in sections so I wasn't just clipping like this mound of hair all at once. And I don't pull on it, I don't stretch it out too much. Like I give it a gentle like tug, but I don't want to snap it back and then it be too short from what I want. So I always gently hold it. I don't yank on the curls. Then I just went ahead and pinned around the perimeter of the fall and secured it to the base. And now I'm just gonna fluff it up with a pick just to spread out those curls, give it some volume, baby, because it was looking a little flat, a little deflated. But you know, that's what you have to do when you take a wig right out the box. So just fluff it up. And I'm just basically picking it out like a fro, like a real fro. It's not hard. Yep, fluffing it up. Look, it's so easy. All right, and here I felt like I needed to get rid of some bang, so I decided I'm gonna just comb it back up into the ponytail, smooth out the base of it with the hot comb. Ugh, I'm telling you, this hair is so thick. It is so hard to do that. So then I just went ahead and zip tied everything together. And so now I'm getting ready to measure the space, the circumference for the headband. Marina has a red headband. So for me, it was about 16 inches. So I took it over to this like red vinyl fabric that I got a while back. Cause I'm that kind of person where I like accumulate stuff for a costume way ahead of time before I actually end up doing it. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Crazy. But yeah, so here I'm just taking that measurement over. I'm doing like a is it 2 inches? I believe. Yeah, it was 2 inches wide and 16 inches across. So once I cut that out, I take that over to my sewing machine and I do a 5/8 seam allowance down the strip, and nothing complicated with this, you guys. I sew one side of the opening closed while it's turned inside out, and then I fold it. I unfold it so it's right side out. But before that, I cut the bulk of that seam off so that it's not bulky. I fold in that edge and then I sew that edge down to close it off. And then I go in with a strip of Velcro. I don't know why I made it this way. I'm gonna tell you the truth. At this point, girl, I was so ready to be just done. Done. No one's gonna see this. So if it look a little crazy, who cares? So I just took a little piece of Velcro and sewed it to both ends of the red headband. At this point, I was annoyed at myself for making this such an annoying process. But then I was like, stop being gentle. Just pull the damn wig through the scrunchie. It was already oversized. So it wasn't like, it was like this tiny little like ring I was trying to get all this hair through. So it was fine. I just pushed some of the pins back in. Girl, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was too lazy to sew this wig down. That's how lazy I was. But I'm gonna have this wig in my own possession, so it's gonna be nothing for me to like just shove a pin or two back in. And maybe at one point when I'm bored, I'm gonna sew it down. But here she is in all her glory, baby. I'm really happy with her. It's giving just a slightly more voluminous version of what she had in the live action version.
This is the final look. This is Mariner. I'm so happy with this. Now, I will tell you one thing that I did mess up on this, and I will admit it to you, is that, like I said before, make sure you stretch out your caps, especially when you're doing updos and ponytails and things of that nature. And because I think also because there's so much tension because of the zip ties, there is no stretch. And I have a big head. And what you usually find with these beauty supply wigs, which I use as the base and also as the fall, is they tend to run small. So I can finagle it because also I have short hair. I can shave it off, so it's not going to be that much of an issue. And also the bang hides the other side. Now, if I was to make this again, I would definitely probably either use a different wig or do my due diligence and like stretch the shit out of it. I thought I had did enough stretching, but clearly not. So that is another lesson that I would like to impart to you guys, is make sure you stretch out your wigs, pull that nape down, pin the shit out of it, secure it. Even if you think it's too far, it's never far enough. Unless you know your exact measurements and you're building a wig from scratch, that's a different story. But if you're buying a wig off the rack, online, what have you, just stretch it out. But yes, I'm overall very happy with this wig. Again, I will put the wigs that I used for this in the description below because they really just expedited this process. Could you imagine if I had to make these curls by hand? No. I will put those down in the description box. Subscribe, comment, and get ready for all the Mariner and Boimler content that's coming up. I'm going to be working on the boots next. That will be a separate video. The uniform, I'm not touching that uniform. Part of me wanted to, you know, how they have like that V in the front of the uniforms. This one is just kind of straight across. There's too much like construction and taking things apart and putting them back together that I just don't want to get into with this tunic, with this top for the uniform, and potentially ruin it and mess it up. So I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. It's okay. And I can find another tunic later that maybe has that V shape. Then I will also be attempting to make a bat lift out of EVA foam, and that will be a third video. And then once all of those pieces are complete, it will culminate and I'm gonna be doing some content with her and my boyfriend is Boimler, some pictures, things like that. I'm gonna make a whole big like thing because I like to do like kind of like sagas for characters. Like I had my Janeway saga, I had my Beverly and Deanna saga, and now I want to do Mariner and Boimler and like just pour into them and get as much as I can out of this wig, out of the look, you know, just really live it up as those two characters because it's gonna be fun. Lower Decks is one of my favorite new Star Treks in the new era, so I have to really like show my love for that show, and you will see it soon, hopefully. But again, if you like what I do here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, all of that good stuff, share it, spread it around. Subscribing is free. That way you won't miss anything that I put out when it comes out. If you would like to support the channel and also me, there are links to my throne and also links to my Venmo and things like that if you would like to tip me. Because, you know, I am a drag queen and we live off tips. So if you'd like to tip me virtually, you can do so down below. Alright, so I'd like to thank you again for joining me on this hair journey, hair trek. There's a lot of content coming for Lower Decks, so buckle up and subscribe. And a rosé over and out.